Our daughter and her family had come to Lost River Cave and told us we had to check it out. So we spent a few hours there and we really enjoyed it.
Yes, it was beautiful. And once again, we got a beautiful weather day too. But this was quite an adventure. I've never taken a boat ride underneath the ground. Kind of cool, don't you think?
Yeah, and they had some paths you could walk also. And unfortunately, the butterfly house was closed when we were there.
But we did get to enjoy wandering around just a little bit as we waited for the tour to get together. We were the first ones there. We seem to be early birds, don't we? But that gave us a chance to wander around quietly and enjoy the scenery. It was amazing scenery.
It was very pretty.
So the strange part is how this is right in the middle of Bowling Green, Kentucky. We were amused at the fact that as we crossed this bridge right here, we could see apartment complexes over on the other side. But it was really cool. It's very nicely done. So we're so glad we did it. So we're about ready to start the tour. But first we need a little bit of a heads up, right, Vicki? Here it comes.
We have brown bats here.
Oh, really?
Little brown bats.
We're not afraid of bats, are we, Luke? Sorry, inside joke. No, this is a cool ecosystem where it allows us to ride on a river in a cave. I don't think that happens very often. And right up there is a stand or a base for zip lines. And they no longer have zip lines, so don't get your heart set on going for a zip line ride because they don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys, this right here is the blue hole, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more whenever we get over here.
Our tour guide gave us a history of the blue hole. That's why it's so infamous. During the Civil War, both the Union and the Confederate armies stationed themselves near the cave, sometimes in the cave. And it turned out that if it happened several times that soldiers would say, well, I'm going to go to the blue hole. And what would happen? The soldier would never come back. That happened on both sides. So to shorten the story, our guide said that the blue hole was measured by farmers, the first measurement of it, and it looked like it was 140 feet deep. And so they said, oh my God, can you imagine how many bodies are down there? Well, then later on, college students measured it, and it turned out it was only about 14 feet deep. So he came to the conclusion that he thinks that people were using the blue hole excuse as a way to desert their army and go back home.
And then there's other tales that the blue hole adjoins with the cave and people would pop up in other parts
elsewhere.
Of the cave.
Oh, that's true too. So when he took us in the cave, the first thing that you do after you leave the dock is, boy, do you have to duck. You double over to get underneath a shallow part, and he takes you deep into the cave and shows you, of all things, brown bats. And then when we got out, we got to wander around this part of the cave, which is where they still, to this day, hold weddings. And
right there, they're showing you where they, during Prohibition, would hide alcohol.
And he's walking over to look into the water right now to see if we can, where they albino crawdads or what? Crawdads in the water?
Yeah, I have no clue.
But anyway, it
I never got to see one.
no, we didn't see one. But I will tell you what, this cave is cool. They've really utilized it over the years in many different ways. And Vicky and I got to enjoy walking around. Oh, he's pointing at those stairs. I wanted to point this out. In the early days of the cave, they used it for a speakeasy. And the only way in, it was before it was dug out so that they could take a sloped hill down. The early days, they had to climb down staircase down the cliff. And as our guide said, it wasn't much of a problem, people coming down the cliff on the stairs. But then when they spent the evening in the speakeasy, getting back up the cliff was kind of dangerous. So it didn't work out so well that way. And as with all good cave stories, there's always an outlaw that has hidden in the cave. And we were told about Jesse James and his gang, and they went and they abducted a Bowling Green doctor and told him to come into the cave and help a sick gang member. And as the guide said, can you imagine going home and telling your wife, yeah, I was just with Jesse James and his gang? Uh-huh. Sure you were. Thanks for watching.